Why does life have to do? Pacific Rim Uprising was one of the most anticipated films for me of this year. I didn't necessarily love the original, but I thought it was well done, enjoyable, and good characters. The one thing I thought it was kind of lacking was a lot of action. Thankfully, the second film manages to up on the action, but sadly, it fails everywhere else. Now, I just want you guys to know, I don't hate Pacific Rim Uprising. It is not a bad film, but because of all the expectation it had, I mean, seriously, it was the most anticipated film on Rotten Tomatoes for March 2018, ahead of A Wrinkle in Time, Ready Player One, Tomb Raider, freaking Isle of Dogs. Yeah, more popular than those. How, where, what, why? Never mind. Pacific Rim Uprising is described as, it's, it's not cool. Like, some of in the first one, that there wasn't a lot of humor, which I'm fine with. It's an action movie, you don't necessarily need it. But when there was, it was mostly enjoyable. This one, no humor. Anything that is, not funny at all. Which is just absolutely annoying as hell. Now, mainly, the Pacific Rim Uprising lost three main factors to doing well. It it lost Guillermo del Toro's directorship, though he stayed on as a producer. Charlie Hunnam for its main, although because he decided to do King Arthur Legend of the Sword, you absolute idiot. And no Idris Elba, who died. How they replace? This is going to be an interesting one. The director of Pacific Rim Uprising, Stephen S.A. Knight, this was his first ever directorial outing. And obviously, from a sequel point, bigger, you need to make it better and bigger. Sadly, that wasn't the case. He, big, bigger, bigger most of the time means better, not in this case. So why I like his new look with more action? I don't think it was well done. Ooh. As for replacing Idris Elba, well, you got his son, which I'll talk about in a second. Anyways, now moving on to the characters. For what it's worth, Charlie Hunnam's original character in Pacific Rim, was fine. He wasn't the greatest, but he was fine. As for John Boyega, you don't have the biggest shoes to fill, but he was absolutely incredible in Pacific Rim Uprising. Expecting a lot of him judging from his Star Wars performances, I hoped that he would deliver a great performance. He did, and it was amazing. He's different to his father in every single way, a crook, reluctant, kind of typical from like the action heroes, but overall, it was enjoyable. As for the other characters, well, hit or miss. Kaylee Spenny, I think that's her name, as the young girl was good, and she had good chemistry with John Boyega, and Scott Eastwood as Nate, Jake's former partner. He was fine. He wasn't. He was fine. As for everyone else, absolutely terrible. A common theme problem with the first one and the second one is that the other Jaegers, aside from the main one, which I like the names of, Gypsy Avenger, I can't remember anything else. I am absolutely stupid. Is that they didn't give the other pilots enough backstory. Pacific Rim 1 didn't do it too much, but it was like a small amount, which was, I guess, acceptable. As for Uprising, you never get a proper backstory. The film is slightly less than 2 hours long, And I feel if it had just been around 20 minutes longer, it could have given us more depth to the other Jaeger pilots, because they're all left as lifeless pieces of junk and cardboard cutout characters. And then there are the three return characters. Oh boy. Three return. Marco Mori, Newt, and the other science, Herman, I believe his name. Marco, spoilers if you haven't seen the film, decide whether you want to watch it, it's your choice. Marco dies, because apparently without Charlie Hunnam, she's nothing. How feminist of you. As for the other two, Herman was fine, I guess. It wasn't really great thing ever, but he was still kind of funny and enjoyable. And I liked him a lot more in the second one than in the first one. And then there's Newt. This was one of the biggest things that pissed me off. I was already pissed off with Newt working for someone else because he reminded me like a stupid footballer that that adored by his club's fans and is playing well, but because of money, he he leaves he leaves for a rival company. I initially thought the rival company with the drones was going to be the bad guy, but I was wrong. Instead, Newt, damaged by using the alien brain too much and infected by the precursors, manages to hack the other tech drones and to destroy all remaining Jaegers aside from 4 in last Shatterdome, and also create breaches. This really pissed me off. He's not a good bad guy. He was a weird but zany character in the first one, but they just had to ruin him in the second one. What an idiot. The film is just goofy. It's stupid, and it's honestly boring to watch at some point. Yet, what keeps it still, for some ungodly reason, are the visual effects, which are good, the score, which is perfect as always, John Boyega's performance, and of course, the Jaeger fights. The battle by the abandoned facility on ice, the chase sequence by Scrapper, the final battle. Pretty much all the fights were enjoyable. And sadly, that's all that the film earns as great praise. Nothing. That's what keeps it from being a bad film. It's an okay film, 6 out of 10, but it's also one of the biggest disappointments of this year. So, whether you want to see it or not, that's up to you. Thank you so much for watching. This is Media Nation coming to you from another video of cinema reviews. And see you all next time. Bye.